Hello and welcome to Eat the Fucking Food. Today we have a very special guest that I am so excited for you to meet. She is SJ Yeung, but you can call her Jeannie. And while she has taught and practiced yoga for 30 years, Pilates for 15, strength training for 10 years, and lifting really heavy for nearly 3, she's not here to teach or educate. Jeannie is here to share. Like you and me, Jeannie's a midlife woman trying to thrive rather than just survive. After years in corporate America, she got burnt out from trying to do it all and is slowly making her way back by truly practicing self-care. And that means eating the fucking food. But that's enough for me. Let's hear from Jeannie herself. We had an excellent conversation that ranged from so many topics, but basically we really talked about what it means to heal in a world that encourages women to make themselves smaller and how good it feels to finally step into your power. Jeannie, welcome to Eat the Fucking Food. I am so happy to have you here today.
I love the name of this podcast.
Thank you. It was born out of just a frustration of, I'm a nutrition coach, and I think that's how we first connected. You reached out to me, and I did. I hope my business coach is not listening. I remember you being like, blah, 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 and I'm like, I think you're good.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're doing all the right things, right? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is why you're not like a superstar, mega $1 million coach, because you keep telling women, you got it. Let's go. You're fine. But a frustration of how scared women are around when it comes to food and eating. Like you said, we just talked a little off camera, but we're going to say it again, to thrive rather than just survive. So
Right.
I've been following you on Instagram. I love how strong you are. I love your videos. They're phenomenal. We're going to get there about how heavy you can lift. And I get it. If you're listening and you're like, I don't strength train or I don't want to lift heavy, that's okay. We all have different paths. But if we can just start and you tell me your story, what you've been going through the last couple of years and why you're choosing strong,
Okay.
especially now.
Well, I came through the 90s and early 2000s with the heroin chic models, the really just waif thin bones, like skin draped over bones. And that was hard because I could never get to be that small. And then fast forward quite a bit, having gotten married, having 3 kids, and had fibromyalgia all of a sudden. And one of my doctors said, I want you to read this book called Wheat Belly. It talks about kind of what wheat does in your body. And just, I want you to try going off of wheat and seeing how you feel. And actually my fibromyalgia got better, but the book, it's not the easiest read, but it does explain a lot. And it kind of set me down this rabbit hole of what food does in your body and how we need to fuel ourselves and not just feed ourselves. And I started going down this rabbit hole of not punishing yourself with exercise for food and really looking at what I put in my body. And I have to say, nothing wrong with his message in particular, but he's very anti-sugar of any kind. No honey, no, he's almost keto in a way, like in the very beginning. I don't know if he still is now, but I had a conversation with him on Facebook where he was even telling me that putting a couple tablespoons into a loaf of bread of honey was not acceptable. And at that point I was like a size 2, like it was the smallest I think I'd ever been outside of like junior high. And I could fit into a coat from a junior high kid. Like I actually shopped for shirts in the kids department. And he was like, there's nothing wrong with being that small. And I just didn't feel right in my body. And he was like, it's just because everyone else is so big. And I started in the gym, and in the gym it was lift light weights, lots of reps, because you don't want to get bulky. You don't want to look like a dude, which
Let's
is
go.
really hard, by the way. Yeah, that's not no,
Good
it's
luck.
not-
That's what I
unless
always
you're
say when
really-
someone says, I go for it. Try to get bulky. Good luck.
Yeah. Have fun with that. And I think at some point my perimenopause just really kicked in, and I got really tired of men telling me that I need to be small and thin and I need to shrink emotionally, physically, intellectually. I'm 52 years old. And we had this horrible book called The Rules shoved down our throats in the 90s, where it was like, you don't want to be too smart. You don't want to be too funny. You don't want to scare them off. And I think I just finally had it. I want to be strong. Like, I want to be proud of myself and how much I can lift. I don't want to just go and lift 35 pounds over and over and over again until I throw up. I want to be proud of what I'm doing and have an accomplishment. And I really didn't know how to eat to fuel myself properly after going through that sort of like keto-esque off the wheat, but don't replace it with anything kind of mentality. It took me a while, a lot of research, a lot of talking to people such as yourself, just trying to get a feel for eating like a human being.
Oh my God, eating like a human being, right? It's like these little, when we have these aha moments, because I'm right there with you. I'm 54, and I remember, the heroin chic, Kate Moss and the Calvin Klein ads. I don't know what Miss Moss eats or doesn't eat. Like, we don't comment on other people's bodies.
Right.
But I do remember because it came right after the supermodels, right? Which were curvy. They had hips. They still were probably incredibly slender in real life, but they were fuller figured. And I was, at that time, college, like no chest, no hips. So I saw the heroin chic and was like, oh, well, I can't do supermodel, but maybe I can do like you know what I mean? And thank God at that time, I wasn't like putting any time in to actively achieve anything. But it was a thought, every time, like I've been saying to people, like we've learned how to diet our whole lives. We have not learned how to eat. And how much, because you followed me, I'm talking about like most women, they come to me and they're not eating enough for their life. Not that they have to eat a ton more. And I am a little bit of everything is okay. I want what is your life? And I want to touch on something you just said, was that you were at your smallest and you felt horrible inside.
Yeah. I was wearing a size 2. I was bordering on a 0. And I'm 5'4", and it just didn't feel right. And it didn't feel good. And I didn't feel strong. And I've done yoga on and off my whole life, my whole adult life. I've done Pilates for, good Lord, 15, 16 years, maybe more. Honestly, I can't keep track of it. And I knew that I wanted to have muscle. I just didn't think that was sustainable. I mean, honestly, I don't think it is for me. I was watching every single thing I was putting, and I wasn't counting calories or anything like that because I was afraid that if I started, like that would be like a mantra in my head for the rest of my life. So I didn't do that, but I was very careful. Like I would have potatoes on the weekend or rice on the weekend. Like I would allow myself like a quick carb like on the weekend, but otherwise it was just vegetables and meat and seeds and nuts and dairy, which I can't do. I went to an immunologist to try and figure out kind of like what my body was doing because it was bananas for a while. But I was watching everything I ate, and I wasn't eating any sugar, and I wasn't having any fun. And like my kids would kind of tease me like, you eat devoid of joy. Like your food is all joyless.
Out of the mouth of babes. Out of the mouth of babes, right?
Yeah.
Something through like my own journey and just like coaching women, this relationship we have with food. It's so loaded, right? The whole like working out to earn. It always came from a restrictive mentality, right? That it's like, I'm not tracking, I'm not counting, but I'm judging. My personal first experience with any kind of tracking was like 6th grade. We were doing a nutrition unit in science class. And we had to, I think, track our food. I don't know if it was for a week or a day, but I do remember it became kind of a challenge to eat as little as possible. That less was better was somehow being put in our brains. And there was and we're like, well, what did you eat? And it wasn't about weight. Like it wasn't about body. It was about nutrition. And I thought back to that recently. And I'm like, what the hell? At the time, our science teacher, she was going through her own process, And as an adult, I'm like, I was never taught to eat. And once I got educated and certified, I'm like, oh my God, you could eat so much more. But I am all about the joy because food is communion. It is family. It is friends. It's joy. As much as it's fuel, because my whole fantasy is like feed your body, fuel your life. It makes everything better.
When we were growing up, I mean, everything was geared towards diet. Every magazine going through the checkout aisle was geared towards diet.
Yep.
And I don't know why it burned into my brain as much as it did, but Special K.
Yeah.
They would say, if you can pinch an inch in their commercial, you have fat and you need to eat 2 bowls of this a day and have 1 meal and then you'll lose it. It came at you from every direction. Smaller.
And you trust, and it came from an authoritative voice, right? So we listened. Maybe that's whole part of like women of the 80s. I think we're busting out hard time right now. I know like a bunch of 50-year-olds and older are like, hold my beer. Let's go. But it's funny because you bring up Special K. One of my clients was on the advertising team way back in the day for Special K. And she started working with me and she was like, oh my God, what did I'm like, she was junior, because she's our
Yeah.
age. But she was like, I had no idea that was not good. You know what I mean? And maybe potentially no one thought it was bad at the time. I'm not saying it came from an evil place, but it came from such an ill-informed place. Look at the
Yes.
damage it's done. So when it comes to food, especially, are you eating with joy now? Are you eating foods that bring you joy?
As a matter of fact, when I go on road trips with my boyfriend and I, like we have this thing now where we get a package of peach rings, those horrible,
Oh,
like
yeah.
every time we go on a road trip, like there and back, we get a package of that. And part of me, this little gremlin
Yeah.
in the back of my brain is just like, I can't believe you are eating that garbage. But I'm like, God, it's good. And what the hell? Like, I can't be
Right.
restricted forever.
No.
It's just,
No.
why
Right.
make it hard? Why
I
do you have
just
to make it
like,
so hard?
and here's the thing, like peach rings on a road trip. Are you taking a road
Yeah.
trip every day? And you talk about like, I love that your kids were the ones who like pointed out you eat without joy. Because how many times were you out with them and you went, no, I can't have the ice cream, or I'm not going to. It's one thing if you don't like ice cream, you know what I mean? Or don't like want it in the moment. Cause like
Right.
I talk a lot about being mindful, eating stuff you don't want to eat because it's a habit. But I think, oh my God, I think that should be up on the wall. You should eat with joy. Give us our joy back. And it starts with food. The quality of food we eat and even the quantity affects our emotional health. I think we were raised in this time that it was like what you eat, it's what you weigh, how small your body is. And we're back in a time I thought we had busted out of healthy comes in all shapes and sizes. 100% true. It's not the size of your pants that necessarily makes you a healthy person. But right now we're in a skinny talk
It's coming back.
time warp. It's coming back
Yeah.
like with teeth, like with
Yeah.
teeth that aren't used to eat any food. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
scary. I want to talk about your workouts
Okay.
because I find them like so inspirational. I mean, they're great. Okay, so you went from I loved you were like Pilates, yoga, you were doing
Yeah.
strength training, and you
Yeah.
went now you're in the gym. Like you're in
Yeah.
what I call like the big girl section of the gym, which is great. And here's why I want to talk about it. Because if you're listening to this and you're like, that room scares me, because I know that kept me out of that section of the gym for a while.
Yeah.
But what I've experienced is no one's really paying it. No one cares. The guys don't care. Like, I have not had a negative experience yet, except for guys
Yeah.
not re-racking their weights. Like that pisses me off to no end. But what's your experience like going in there? And is there anything you had to overcome? What were your fear steps going from I'm doing the 35 pounds to now
Yeah.
I'm like back squatting?
It was more like turn me loose. Like just- I'm chomping at the bit. Just let me go and do it. And I didn't go about it in sort of like the most probably educated way as far as weightlifting goes. And I ended up getting a coach who was a strong man and he trained me like a power lifter. And I did that for 2 years. And I'm still sort of I've still kind of one foot in there. I had an injury in my shoulder where in high school, popped my collarbone out of place and this got all very strange. And we never did any physical therapy or anything because, who did that back then? And actually, I was in the gym and it popped out of the socket. So I am still kind of recovering from that. But I can deadlift 225 from the floor at this point. I can lift that and I use a belt. If I start getting to weights that are beyond, I weigh about 150 pounds. And if I start getting to weights that are above my body weight, then I'll put a belt on to make sure that I'm being safe and I try and be careful. But I felt more myself and I was proud of myself in the gym instead of just getting it done and doing whatever. Like I felt accomplishments. That's kind of what drives me in the gym is being able to continue to do those kinds of things. In the gym, I haven't really had too much of a hard time from guys. It's really more online. They like the physique, but once they see what you have to do to get there, they're intimidated. And they say things like, if you keep lifting like that, you're going to be a dude, or, the hummingbird on your arm is going to become a hawk. They get really weird about it.
I'm like, yeah. I follow, outside of being a nutrition coach, I'm an actor. I don't sing, but I follow the woman who played Elphaba on Broadway, and she's in another show now, and she works out. She's got great arms. She's doing Elsa somewhere in whatever costume, and like the people commenting on her muscles, it's ridiculous. It's horrible. I'm sorry you have to go through that, but like I said, in the room, because they're the people doing the same things. They're there like you want to be there. I want to go back and touch about like,
Right.
I finally feel like myself. I
Okay.
feel like myself again. That was like a thing that I had the same thought. When I started, I'm not at your level of lifting. I've definitely gotten heavier. I'm definitely in the big girl part of the gym. I go in, I'm moving that way, and it has changed my confidence. When I became a nutrition coach, it was like, because I was not in this field outside of like 6 years ago. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was, I'm an actor here in Chicago. I was a former PR person. 3 kids were coming up, and I joined at the time a program, and it had strength training involved with it. And I was like, oh my, I could do this. And it's funny how in eating more and eating, I was like, I'm eating so much. You know what I mean? And I feel better. I'm sleeping. My moods are better. My perimenopausal symptoms, well, it's not a cure-all, but it is a foundation and really helped a lot of that stuff. So when you said you finally feel like yourself, like you said, you got the confidence, how did it translate to other areas of your life?
For me, the biggest thing that I noticed was that and it's not, I'm not saying like I don't need help doing stuff ever, but like I could do more on my own. I could move furniture on my own. I was able to just handle myself and take care of things differently than I had before, where, previously I might have had to enlist a man to come help me move a bed or move a heavy sofa or something. Like I was able to just do more of my own stuff. And I found, I think, with fibromyalgia, which is a super fun situation, and all the other things that come along with it, because it never comes by itself. I think I shrank a bit, because I think when you get a diagnosis like that, you tend to identify yourself as that syndrome, as that disease, as that whatever. You tend to hone in on that, and that becomes like part of your personality. So I stopped doing some stuff because I was in pain all the time. And then I finally got really tired of not doing anything. And I found that the more I did in the gym, the more I could do outside the gym. So the more you do, the more you can do. The less you do, the less you can do, is what it boils down to. And that translates into a better future as well, because you don't want to be the woman who falls and breaks her hip and dies when you're 60 years old, because that's a mortality rate situation right there. So I like feeling like I'm going to be in a better position moving forward. I like knowing that I can handle things by myself. And there are times when moving a king size mattress, it's awkward. I need some help. But I mean,
We all need
there's
help
things
doing that.
yeah. I mean, but there, it's different when when you feel like you can handle yourself a little better, and you don't need someone to help you carry that bag of dirt into your yard or whatever. It's just a different mentality. And I think it sets you up differently for your future, where like I watch my parents, and that's my biggest nightmare, is watching my parents like shuffle around the house, and like my dad falls, and it takes 2 people to get him back up. He can't get up on his own. And that's my biggest nightmare right there, is being helpless.
I hear you. I'm the same. Like, I love the confidence you have now. It gives you added confidence, the independence you have now, but the independence, hopefully we will still have when we're in our 80s. I'm shooting for not, I heard someone's like, I don't have that long left. I'm like, I'm 54. I want another 40 years. Like, if I'm 100 and like doing well, then great. You know what I mean? Mentally, I'm all still there if things don't hurt. And like, the more you do now, we're seeing the effects of it. Like, I got to say, like, one thing my parents really modeled well is they've always been active people, and they're mid 80s now. And my mom's still like walking 4 miles a day. I think she planks longer than I do. I mean, it's like, it's startling, but it's great. Like, to the point she's like, I can do that. I can do that. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Doesn't mean you have to. Maybe we want to be a little bit careful, but they're doing wonderfully. And it's like, okay, the more you move, the more you're going to be able to move later. Like, my biggest fear is having to be helped off the toilet. That some young, poor intern in a nursing home is going to have, I'm like, please God, no, don't take me. Like, I'd be like, this is it. That gets me. I don't want to work out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go do some squats. Let's go. Let's go do it. Question I had, and we kind of touched on it a little bit.
Okay.
What mindset reframing did you have to do? Like, something I've had to tell myself, because I weigh more now than I did at my middle-aged weight. Yeah. So like, I've gone not up a pant side, but different shaped pants. I got more of a butt. now than I used
Yeah.
to have. My husband goes once, he was very funny because, of course, I'm like, we get conscious. We're still fighting the demons. And he's like, okay, don't. He's like, don't just stand over there. Don't get mad. He's like, your butt used to be here, but now it's here. Like, he's like, it's out more, but it's rounder. He's like, is that bad? Is that bad? Are you mad? I'm like, no, I'm not mad. Okay. I
No.
said, like,
Yeah.
but like bodies have changed. And something I have like been repeating to myself, you deserve to take up space. You
Yes.
deserve
Yes.
You deserve to take up space. I'm in a slightly bigger body, but I firmly believe it's a healthier body. Like I play tennis. I was getting hurt. I was pulling a hamstring, shoulders, knock on wood. I'm like halfway through like my third year of right, knock on wood, missing matches because I leaned or lunged and something went,
Yeah. Yeah.
So what reframing have you done to get yourself where you are?
That was hard because after having my kids, I was a size 10, 12, and being a size 10, 12 with sort of like that baby weight still hadn't gone is very different than being a size 10, 12 because you're bodybuilding, and not that I'm a bodybuilder, but I mean, I think if you're in the gym, you're building a body, you're building your muscles, you're reframing your structure, you're reinforcing those bones, and it was a bit of a mind trip. Like it was really trippy to be in good shape but getting larger because we're always supposed to be smaller, thinner, take up less space, quieter, all of those things. And to be getting larger, I struggled with it really, really bad. I want to say it was like a mental crisis for like a year where I was just like, I want to gain the muscle, but I don't want to keep getting bigger. Like, this is not okay. And then eventually it sort of sunk in, like, if you're building muscle, you're going to get bigger. And if your physique is good, then who cares?
Right.
It's not the same. And I think it was maybe a year and a half ago or something, I posted something in the changing room at Target. And I was like, I guess you can't leg press 800 pounds and wear a size small pants anymore. Like, that's not how that works. Like, if you want to push the weight, if you want to really leg press all that weight, you've got to have the muscle and the body to go with it. And that was a little bit of a wake up call where I was like, okay, this is okay, because I am able to do these things. And if I stay in a size small, extra small, I'm never going to be able to do these things. So what's more important to me, having a size 0, size 2, size extra small, size small, or being a medium and a size 10 pants and being able to, I think my heaviest squat was like 240 or something like that at one point. And I did it's a strongman thing. And I think it's a power lifter thing, is lifting an 18-inch deadlift. So 18 inches off the rack. So it's not on the floor, but it's 18 inches. And I think I did over 300 pounds at one point. And I would never be able to do that if I was under eating, if I was really small. I think I was under eating because of what I had read, and I hate to keep bringing that guy back up, but like the wheat belly thing really, really messed with my head. I mean, he was talking about the things that grow in your body when you eat too much sugar and how that's how you get like macular degeneration, blah, 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 like just fear mongering. And I think I was under eating, honestly. And it wasn't intentional at all. It was not my intention to like diet or under eat. I was just trying to be healthy, and I just didn't have probably enough of a baseline in my knowledge base really to understand. I had taken this one thing and sort of ran with it because it freaked me out so much. And getting off wheat did make me feel better. But
no, I think, and you're not alone there, because I know that's what I did. 40s body start. I joke that like content shifted mid-flight, like the weight. Definitely during pregnancy, like you get pregnant, like then whatever, so many months, I'm back to the right weight, but it's a different body. Things are wider, lower, whatever. Rib cage is bigger. You know what I mean? And
your hips sit differently after you have kids, and
all
so
these
your
things,
body shape
and we're
changes.
expected to go back, and we're taught to view it as a bad change rather than just, it's a change, a neutral change. And and then I did the same thing. So like 40s, that's when I started going fishing. Oh, this 30 day, that 30 day, in the name of health. And in hindsight, once education came, because I realized at the time, like, right, smallest weight, postpartum, so many compliments. And at the same time, in hindsight, anxiety through the roof. libido gone. Like just being like, I mean, I remember having this really, even saying it here, I'm like, I grew up in Catholic school talking about, even sex in this most benign way. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, here we go. But like going like, I love you. It's not you. It's just, I'm tired. Couldn't get through the day without a nap.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I'm like, oh, what was I eating in this 30-day, which, and I'm not going to name the actual program. They had 30 in the number, but you feel so good. You made it a year. Like, it probably
Yeah.
should have been
Yeah.
just 30, where it was like, 2 eggs and a bunch of spinach for breakfast. There was carbs and vegetables, but no rice. There was no starchy carbs. We need, like, those are necessary in the right amounts. And it wasn't until later, until thank God, I got a little interested and kind of went fishing on my own and got certified with, established nutrition. I was like, that's why I had all those problems. Like, that's why, heart palp, like menopause stuff went batshit. Couldn't sleep, was waking up every night. And then all of a sudden, once you start fueling your body, like we said, like we sometimes all need extra help. I'm not one of these people that's a cure all, but the fact that so much is out there, like this author, not to be named, that's like preying, there could be truth and goodness, but it's also preying on insecurities. Like
Yes.
it's a lot of menobelly and cortisol
If
face
I,
and these made up shit terms to
yeah.
scare women into plopping a bunch of money down and going once again restrict,
Right.
because
Right.
if we keep you fearful and we don't teach you how to really take care of your body, we can't make more money off you in the long
We
run.
can't sell you supplements if you're doing okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I take some supplements, but like I always say, like, think about college. If you did the reading, you could get an A in that class. If you just read the supplemental reading, you're going to flunk that class. Like now, if you do the main reading and the supplemental reading, maybe you learn a lot more, you get more educated, but the supplemental reading alone doesn't get you the grade you want, which is in this case, like a really healthy life, a healthy, happy life.
It's an uphill battle because everything that is thrown at you. I mean, I don't know what it is the last 3 years on like Instagram and anywhere. It's all targeting perimenopause and menopause. And I know that we're kind of, like our generation has kind of come into it and we're kind of center stage for however short a period that is. But they are targeting Gen X really hard. If I see one more post talking about cortisol is an issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue, but it's not as big of an issue as they're making it out to be. Not everybody has a problem with cortisol. You can have insomnia and your cortisol can be fine. I have cortisol because I have PTSD. So like I know there's an issue there, but like they act like it's everybody. And it's this one size fits all cookie cutter solution of managing your cortisol to level out your hormones and then you'll be thin and fine. And it's exhausting.
And it comes in a
It's
tea. Just drink this cup of tea.
yes.
I'm like, that's just going to make you poop a lot, I bet. I'm always like, where's the
Yeah.
caffeine? Where's the caffeine? Oh, look at all the caffeine. There we
Yeah.
go. There we
Yeah.
go. And it's hard. I get it. It's hard to fight, but I love that you are out there and you are just posting your strong, badass self every day and you're having fun doing it. You make lifting that heavy stuff look fun. You're always laughing. You're always smiling. You're probably, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you're not, where no one's ever always laughing and smiling,
The
but
gym is a happy place. It should be. I get dirty looks from dudes from laughing, but I don't want to do it if I'm not having fun. Like if
no,
I,
right. What's the point? And plus you're feeling
yeah.
good when you do, like you
Yeah.
said, like you do this, you're like, oh my God, if I could do that, I could do anything. I love it. I have one last question for you. I want to end, since the podcast is Eat the Fucking Food. What is your favorite food? What's your favorite meal? What's the one thing, even if they were like, if you eat this, everything ends, you'd be like, no, I'm eating it. This is
Okay. This is something that I just learned about this year and I am completely addicted, and it's called Boudin, Boudin. There's a company called Zumos that makes it. It's out of Louisiana. And it's a Cajun sausage. I'm used
Yeah.
to like Italian sausage from Chicago, which is really
Mhm.
dense and kind of
Yeah.
tough. This is made with rice in it and
Ooh.
it's very soft. And I had it for the first time and it was so good that when we put it on the counter to cool, we didn't want to put it, the leftovers, because I think it comes with like 13 sausages, like in a package.
Okay.
We didn't want to put it directly into the refrigerator hot, so we were letting it cool on the counter and I was eating them like a snack.
Walk by. Sausage, right.
So good.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it's chef's kiss. And they sell them at Walmarts. Apparently not every Walmart, but some Walmarts, and it's my favorite thing. Yeah. No, can't go
oh,
without now.
I love it. Oh, wait, I do have one more thing because
Yeah.
outside of all this, you're also an artist, right? And you are
Yes.
you're starting a whole series. I want to talk about this because, like, this podcast, you had nutrition stuff, but it's about raising women up and supporting them. And I love that you're starting a whole, tell me about that. Where can people find you? Tell me about
Redbubble.
this series, like, geared toward women you're designing.
Yes. I believe, honestly, if you're a creative person, I think stifled creativity comes out in negative ways, rage and sadness and anxiety and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. And I really haven't created anything for a long time. I've been very stressed out for years. And I had a discussion with a very prolific artist who owns her own gallery. And she was like, you need to surround yourself with artists if you want to sort of fan that spark into a flame again. And then once you have your flame and you're creating, you have to share it. She's like, put it wherever, but sell it, share it, because other people will also be able to fan their flame off of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of emboldened by that, and I sat down and I started doing some chalk work, and what ended up coming out were portraits of Medusa, different portraits of Medusa. I have trauma that is male related, so I really sort of resonate with that whole story. And I mean, Medusa was essayed in a
Mm-hmm.
temple and then punished for it, which I think is horrific, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously a story written by a man. And I started drawing all of these things, and I draw it in chalk, and I kind of sit with it, and I do it in chalk so I'm present with it, and then I erase it. I take pictures and I erase it. So I've uploaded some of the pictures onto Redbubble into a little shop called Jeans Y. So I put myself out there. I haven't sold anything. I just put myself out there.
This is the first step. And if you don't take that first step, you can't take the second. That
Yeah.
is amazing. I love that. You have to surround yourself. Didn't they say we're like the sum of the 5 people that are around us? You hang
Yeah.
out with
Yeah.
artistic people, you will be artistic. If you hang out with women who are striving to thrive rather than just survive, you too will thrive. We raise all
Yes.
boats, we like go in it together. So thank you so much for coming on here today because you're helping
Thank you for
fan my
having me.
flame. And like, I'm one of your biggest fans. I love watching you.
Oh,
And
I
what's
love
your
your reels. Every day I
Oh
look
my God.
forward to what you post.
Oh, thank you. And sometimes I honestly like, I always believe in the message, but I'm like, how do I amuse myself today? Is like sort of my goal. Because I have learned I am a coach. I am not a content creator. So like the whole
Yeah.
Instagram world that we're living in right now can be a struggle. So I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. No, I love your whole page. It's great.
Oh, well, thank you so much and take care of yourself. Okay.
You too.